Hello, it's Bailey and welcome back to my channel. I am back with my second vlog reading some of my friends' favorite books from 2021. We all just made a list of our favorites of the year. Sorry, she's just making like grunting noises. We all made lists of our favorites from the year and then are reading each other's favorites. So most of these people are also reading one of my favorite books of the year. I did already post part 1 where I read Nessa, Stasia, and Melody's favorite books. And I'm starting this video out with Kayla from Kayla Ray Reads. The book I picked from her list was If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy. And she actually directly recommended this to me right after she finished it last year. So I thought I better go with this one. I had purchased it after she recommended it to me, so it was also sitting on my shelves. I'm about 60 pages into it now, and the basic premise of this is we have a plus size main character who essentially is going on a show like The Bachelor, so she's going to be one of the contestants. There's more to it as to how she like gets to that position. Basically her stepmom's like a producer on the show, and I'm just at the part where she's like on her way to the show, so I feel like it's about to get interesting. I really liked One to Watch by Kate Stayman London, if any of you guys remember that, and that also follows like the Bachelorette plotline with a plus size main character, but she actually gets to be the Bachelorette. This time our main character is just a contestant, so there's definitely things in this that line up for me to like it. It is evening time now, but I have been reading If the Shoe Fits all day, and I'm about 75% in now. I haven't had an opportunity to update, so now's when we're gonna do it. We did introduce a bottle to Mabel, so tonight, for the first night, I'm gonna be able to like have like 2 sleep stretches in a row. Chris is gonna stay up and feed her, so I'm gonna go to bed, he's gonna stay up, feed her, and then she'll have like another sleep stretch. So that's gonna be like the longest sleep stretch I've had in 3 weeks basically. So I am gonna take a bath and finish this. I definitely hit myself in the face with that, but I am enjoying it so far. I do think it's pretty cheesy, but I also think that the story is like important. Like I don't think it's bad, like cheesy in a good way, I guess. I did mark a couple different spots. There's a spot I had marked because she talks about like her relationship with the other girls in the house. Like there's this girl she really wants to be friends with, but they're basically like, you know, pinned against each other and going after the same guy. And she talks about just how like this is very like not female empowerment, like pinning everybody against each other. And then I also marked another spot where like the villain in the house basically tells our main character that she thinks that she's brave for like wearing something, and our main character's like, screw off. Like she doesn't say anything to the girl, but her inner monologue is like, it's not brave to live my life and like wear things that I like. So like I said, I think there's some important things in this book, but it's not like the best thing I've ever read, if I'm being honest. I finished this and I'm giving it 3 stars. I think I'm in this situation here, which rarely happens, where I actually think this is better than what my actual enjoyment ended up being. So like objectively I could say this is 4 stars, but like my feelings, 3 stars. I also wanted to mention that this book does deal with death of a parent. Our main character has lost both of her parents, and I actually marked another thing towards the end here that had like something to do with like her mom, and it just really like got me in my feels as I've like became a mom recently. Also something that I think like detracted from my enjoyment of this is I didn't like how much they made the production of the show seem like so fake, because I do think that reality TV is really fake, but not as fake as this made it seem, I guess. I don't know, maybe that's me being naive. I didn't really enjoy that they made it seem really fake, like that nothing was real. So I'm landing on 3 stars for this, and I'll let you know when I start my next thing. All right, I am folding some baby clothes once again, but I thought I better update because I did start a book today. I started Nicoletta from, she changed her channel name to, I think it's Read by Night. I am reading her pick, and I'm actually listening to it on audiobook, and it is We Have Always Been Here, a queer Muslim memoir by Samra Habib. and I don't really know like what this gets into, but so far she has just talked about like her family situation and just like her kind of coming of age and coming into like her body. I'm about 1 hour into what is like a 5-hour audiobook, so that's what I've been doing today, and I've actually been really looking forward to this one, so I have high hopes. Okay, I am still listening to We Have Always Been Here, and I'm really enjoying that, but it is time for me to start a physical read. So for Ashley from Of Fiction and Fantasy, this is the book I picked from her list. This is a book I'm actually not so sure that I'm gonna enjoy, but I've seen so much hype for it and so many people have read this book that I just really wanted to give it a try myself. And that is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. All I know is this is a fantasy retelling of Romeo and Juliet. I also believe it is only a duology, and the second book just came out. So I'm excited to give this a try. Like I said, I don't know much more about it, so I'll let you know as I continue. Okay, I definitely like completely ghosted my reading for the last few days, so I have like 3 kind of updates that I need to update on. Firstly, I finished We Have Always Been Here by Samra Habib. And my stepmom actually got me a copy of this for Christmas, so thanks to her I now own a copy of this. I did end up giving this 4 stars. I think last time when I updated on it, she was still like talking about her adolescence in Pakistan, and so the majority of this book actually covers like her and her family immigrating from Pakistan to Canada, which Nicoletta, who I got this book from her list, lives in Canada, which I still think like it's just as relevant for like immigrating to the United States. And it just talks about like her and relationships and how like she was as like a teenager in an arranged marriage with actually her cousin, and then she gets out of that marriage and enters like a marriage of her choosing with a man that just makes her feel really safe, but she still doesn't like have a desire to like have sex with him, and then her discovering her queerness and then exploring that. And I thought it was really good, and I think like when the title comes into the story, it definitely has one of those moments when like the title is said in the book and you're just like, yes, that. So this one was very good. I gave it 4 stars. And then I am 100 pages into These Violent Delights now, and I'm enjoying it okay. I wouldn't say I'm loving it. It did take me till just like the last chapter or 2 to really like click with the writing style. And it's definitely a slower read than I'm used to. With reading mostly romance and thrillers, they both read really fast. So this one, like fantasy in general, I do struggle because I feel like I'm getting through it so slow. But it's going fine so far. And then when I finished the audiobook of We Have Always Been Here, I was going to start my next audiobook, which was going to be Martine's pick from Just Martine. And from her list, I picked Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. And I was going to try to listen to the audiobook, and then I sat down to start it, and the narrators have like thick British accents, and I was like, I don't think I can do this. So now I'm going to be on a crunch for time because I want to finish this vlog up, but I did decide I do own the physical copy that I'm going to try to read this physically. So I need to read These Violent Delights, and then this, hopefully it's Monday now, and I would like this video to go up Wednesday, but if it's like Thursday, that's fine. You'll know when you're seeing this, when I got it finished by. Also, I got a tripod for Christmas, also purchased by my stepmom, and this isn't a very fun like framing for my first time using it, but we'll see how that goes for me in the coming months. So, listen, in an unexpected turn of events, I'm actually really enjoying These Violent Delights. Like I said previously, it did take me a little bit to get used to the writing style, but once I did, I've really been enjoying the story actually. It is taking me a while to get through just because like my life has been busy, not because I'm not enjoying the book, but I'm surprisingly interested in the story. I do think the like rival gang thing is interesting, and also I'm not that familiar with Romeo and Juliet. We like read it and watched the movie once in probably like 8th grade, but other than that, I'm not that familiar. But I'm enjoying like the tension between the 2 main characters and their like rival gangs, but you can tell they like had a history of a little bit of a romantic relationship in the past. Not sure if that's going to rekindle in this book or if it's something we're going to have to wait for like throughout the duology. But I'm just over halfway now. I am planning on today being a reading day, so I would like to finish Not sure if that's realistic or not. Mabel turns a month old today, so I might just cry all day, but we really have nothing going on. Okay, it's the next morning and I'm here with the shock of the video, the shock of the month, the shock of the year. I finished These Violent Delights and I'm giving it 4 stars. I actually really ended up liking it. I don't think I've described what this is very well at all. It is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, a fantasy retelling set in the 20s in Shanghai. And like I mentioned, the writing took me a little bit to get into, but once I got into it, I ended up actually really enjoying the writing style. It does feel very 20s, which is why like I think it took me a little bit to get into. Just like it kind of feels almost like a classic to start, and it was a little more dense, and I was reading this at a much slower pace than I usually read, which is a little bit frustrating at times, but I do think the writing style was good. I want to give a trigger warning for this book for suicide. Basically, the main plot in this book revolves around people who start like catching what they call the madness, and what that is causing is for them to basically rip their throats out and like kill themselves that way. So that's a big theme throughout this book, but with the Romeo and Juliet retelling, we are following like rival gangs in the time period, and I ended up really liking like the relationship in this as well. So 4 stars for this one. I will definitely be picking up the sequel. Unfortunately, my library doesn't have it except on audio, and I don't think I would like the audio, so I'm probably gonna have to purchase the second book as well, hopefully soon. And now I can sit down and jump into Martine's fic, which is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I am a big Alice Oseman fan already. I have read Loveless, and I've read the first 3 volumes of Heartstopper, so I'm pretty familiar with her. I'm not exactly sure what this book specifically is about. I know there's a podcast element, and her books usually are like LGBT themed, so I'm excited to jump into this one today. And I did pick up the UK cover because I just think these are so pretty, and like together, like this matches my copy of Loveless, and they just look so pretty on the shelves. I'm flying through this today. I'm like just over a third of the way through now, and it makes me happy to read something fast after These Violent Delights took me so long to read, but I'm also really enjoying this one. It is definitely like very queer. Like there's a lot of representation all over the place in this book. Not only our main character, but most of the side characters as well. And this is also just really about like a friendship between these 2 main characters, and I honestly love that so much. And she talks about never really having like a true friend until she starts this friendship with, I don't know how to say it out loud, it's A-L-E-D. I've been saying it in my head as a lead, but not sure if that's correct. And I honestly relate to that a lot right now. Like most of my friendships currently in my life are like internet friends, and it's fun to see them like make this connection. I do think that Alice Oseman also just writes like teenagers so authentically. This is like in the UK. She's from the UK, so most of her stuff is set there. Like just the way the teenagers interact seems so realistic, and like the dialogue is so accurate, and you can tell that this is written by like somebody like of my generation, you know what I mean? I will say their connection around the podcast in this book is like what I love, but I don't necessarily actually care about the podcast that much, so we'll see how that continues to go. But this is just like a fun fluffy time so far today. Like I said, it's going so fast. As much as I want to keep reading right now, Mabel is down for her like big afternoon nap, and every single room in my house is a complete disaster. So I'm gonna start with the one that probably matters the least, which is my reading room, and I'm gonna take 20 minutes right now and just pick up in here as much as I can. So if you like that kind of stuff, here's that. Okay, I've officially finished Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, and I'm very happy to report, because I know Martine is always hesitant to recommend me things because she thinks I always hate what she recommends me. So I'm happy to report that I gave this 5 stars. I did think it was going to end up more at a 4.5, but I do use the call pile system, and it did scrape a 5-star rating for me. Mostly the only thing that I like knocked points from were due to like our main character's ignorance to how I guess people on the internet react to things. And then also I just didn't actually care for the podcast inserts. But other than that, this was like a perfect read for me. I really love Alice Oseman. If you've never read an Alice Oseman, I highly, highly recommend it. But that would put this as the favorite book that I've read for this vlog series, which if you haven't seen the first vlog of reading my friend's favorite books for this year, go watch that, because I am going to now rank all 7 of the books that I read. So in first place was Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, which was recommended to me by Martine from Just Martine. Second, I placed These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, which was recommended by Ashley from Of Fiction and Fantasy. Then in third place, I put Nicoletta's book, which was We Have Always Been Here by Samra Habib. Fourth place, I have The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which was recommended by Nessa. Then I have If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy, which was recommended by Kayla from Kayla Ray Reads. And then I put Survive the Night by Riley Sager, which was recommended by Stasia from Reader C. And lastly, I put The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, which was recommended by Melody from Strawberry Lemon Books. So I made it through all of these. Some of them were hits, some of them were misses, but overall I had a good time reading what my friends loved last year. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I just want to say, for anyone who's made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for like sticking with me through some of these growing pains at the beginning of the year this year. I'm gonna have a lot to figure out in the next couple months as I go back to work, so I appreciate you just like putting the time into watching these. I know I've been kind of all over the place, but I'm having a good time reading, and I hope that these videos are entertaining to you. But thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.